Hey Miss Paula and the Philly Cream Cheese crew. My name is Kim Wiggins, coming to you from California. However, I was born in Oklahoma and I lived there till I was about 8 years old, and my southern roots definitely come out when I'm cooking some of my favorite dishes. Now, growing up in Oklahoma, my parents and both sets of my grandparents lived there, and we had gardens in our backyard. It's very common in the Midwest. And we had so many fresh vegetables that we would put at our table in our meals. And I'm telling you, our table was always full of family, friends, and food that was full of Southern love. So that's what I'm going to be cooking for you today, a Southern recipe. Now, these right here are cookbooks that my grandma and my mom used to get recipes out of all the time. As you can see, the pictures tell 1,000 words. This cookbook is at least 35 or 40 years old. These are cookbooks that the women in our community and our local churches would put together, and they'd take all their favorite recipes and make a simple little cookbook, and everyone would buy them, and they were a huge hit. So today, the recipe I'm going to make for you, the side dish, is a potato and cornflake cake. Now, my mom found this in one of these books years ago, and she tweaked it and made it our own family recipe, and we've cooked it at holidays for years. So it is going to knock your socks off. Let's get started cooking. Okay, the first thing in this recipe is definitely butter. What's funny, that cookbook calls it oleo. That's how old it is. But if you're from the South, you know oleo's butter. So what you want to do is add 1 stick or a half a cup of butter and melt it on low so it doesn't burn. Then we're going to turn up the heat a little bit, and we are going to add about a half of a sweet onion, if you can find them. Now, sweet onions are seasonal. They're kind of like certain vegetables and fruit. They're seasonal during the spring and summer, like a Walla Walla or a Texas sweet or even a Maui Maui. And if you can find those, which they're in season right now, you definitely want to add it. If not, you can add a regular brown or a yellow onion. But it's a full cup, which is about a half of a large onion. And you want to just let this fry up real good. Okay, as you can see, these onions are frying up. And let me tell you, I wish you could smell how good they smell. Don't you know that anything that is fried, especially in butter, tastes good? I'm telling you, this is a true story. A couple years ago, my family was down in New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina, helping out a community church there. And we went to this little restaurant, and they had on the menu fried pickles, dill pickles. And I ordered them just to taste them because I thought there's no way a fried pickle can taste good. You know what? Even a fried pickle tasted good. So let me tell you, these sweet onions and this butter, you know it's tasting and smelling good. Okay, so these are cooking down really nice, and what we want to do now is add a 2-pound bag of hash browns. Now, I've let these defrost just a little bit so they cook up a little bit faster, and I'm going to mix these in right here. And before I mix everything, what I'm going to do is add about a teaspoon of salt to it, and I'm going to take about a half a teaspoon of pepper. And then what I'm going to do is mix these up, let all the butter get in here, and I'm going to keep this on a pretty medium-high heat because I want these potatoes to crisp up a little bit. Now, these are going to take about 5 to 7 minutes to cook, maybe a little longer depending on how high you have it. I prefer to use a non-stick pan, then things don't burn so much. But I'm going to let these cook up, and we're going to get started on the cornflake crust that is going to make these muffins unbelievable. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is make our cornflake crust. So I've melted some butter in the microwave. I've done about 1.5 cups of butter. And what I'm going to do is add 8 cups of crushed cornflakes to this 1.5 cups of butter. Now, here's the deal. If you have a food processor, go ahead and grind up those cornflakes real good and throw them on top of this butter. But I discovered that most people, I don't think, have food processors. Not the average cook like me. And those who do, they don't ever use them. They're just collecting dust. So let me show you a trick. I'm going to mix these real good, make sure the butter gets all the way through. And then I'm going to show you, if you don't have a food processor, no problem. I'm going to show you an Oki food processor. This is a Ziploc and a rolling pin. I know it's country, but it works. And this is great. If you've got little kids, just take the air out of this, take the air out of the Ziploc, and you just give your little kid this sip, and man, they can go to town. And all they do is roll, 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 and crush. This is a country food processor. I'm telling you, my husband always says, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. And all the Southern women say amen. Okay, so here's our crust. We're just going to let this sit, and we're going to get back over to our potatoes and finish up the potato mixture, and then we're going to put these little cakes together, and you are going to love them. Okay, so our potatoes have been browning while we were making our crust, and as you can see, they're a nice, I got some crispiness in there, got those hash browns crisping up, all those onions are nice and fried. So now what are we going to do? We are going to add the love. First thing you're going to do is add 1 cup of Philadelphia cream cheese. Now I chose the onion and chive. I love these flavored cream cheeses. I cook with them a lot, and obviously onion and chive works good with potatoes anytime. So we're going to add the full container, which is a cup. Easy. The next thing we're going to add is 1 cup of sour cream, because sour cream and potatoes must go together. And then the last thing we're going to add is 1 cup of cream of chicken soup. And what I want you to do, just empty all these in here, turn the heat down a little bit to a medium so nothing burns, and we're just going to mix this till it's completely heated through. Okay, now that our potato mixture is thoroughly heated through all the way, we're just going to take this over here, and we're going to finish it off by adding 2 cups of shredded cheese. Now this is Colby and Monterey Jack, and I like a yellow and white cheese together, but you can use whatever you want. Now this is hot, so it's going to melt this cheese immediately, which is nice. And then these babies are going to be ready to assemble. So what we're going to do is we are going to make the cutest potato cakes you have ever seen. Okay, we're going to put these in a silicone muffin pan. Now you can use a metal one if you like, but I love silicone. I'm telling you, I feel like it's the greatest invention for cooks since sliced bread. The reason why is because, number 1, it does not burn. It doesn't stick. I mean, you can put anything in here. It doesn't stick to silicone. It's cool to the touch, and it's really nice when you're trying to take things out of silicone molds, because if it's metal, you pound it and turn it over, but silicone, it forms and you can just pop them out. It is so easy. So if you can invest $12, that's all this costs, get a silicone muffin pan. And we're going to start stacking up our cakes. Okay, so put about a heaping tablespoon of the crust inside here. What you want to do is press this firmly in here, and it needs to only be about 1/4 inch thick, about the same thickness as a pie crust. You want it to be nice and tight so that when it comes out it sticks together, and all that butter is going to make it stick together. Really nice. Then you just take your potato mixture, all that gooey cheese and cream cheese, and fill it right to the top. Yum! Scrumdiddlyicious! Alright, and the next thing we want to do is we left 2 cups of cornflakes on the side, and you just want to kind of hand crush them, they don't have to be ground fine, and pour them on top of these muffins, and that's going to make our topping. And I'm going to finish making all these, and then we are going to bake them till they are bubbly and golden brown. Okay, we've put together 12 of these little cakes. Now the recipe can actually make 24. We're going to start with 12. And with silicone, it is flexible, so you need to put it on a cookie sheet. And we're just going to put these in the oven at 350 degrees for approximately 20 minutes. All right, welcome back. Now our potato and cornflake cakes were in the oven for about 20 minutes at 350 degrees, and we cooked them until all the butter was boiling and bubbling on the top, and the cornflakes are a golden brown. And then when we took them out, we had to let them cool for about 15 minutes. That's really important because all of that butter needs to solidify, or the cake will not stay together in the shape that it's in. So what we want to do now that these are nice and cooled down, now this is what I love about silicone, ladies. These little poppies just pop right out. Oh, aren't they pretty? All right, we'll just take a couple of them. Yeah, baby. We got these little cakes, just got it going on right now. And all we want to do is just garnish them with the fresh chives. And these babies are ready to eat. Now what I love about these is that they go with all 3 meals. You can serve this with breakfast. Can't you just see that next to some scrambled eggs, all those hash browns and cream cheeses and onions? It would be perfect. And another thing is that can go perfect with lunch. You can serve that at a bridal shower. And of course, it goes with dinner. So the bottom line is this. This side dish can go with all 3 meals. And let me tell you, I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm about to. So bon appetit, or as my kinfolk in Oklahoma would say, bon appetite. Bye. Oh, so good.